Richard Hannay, you have got into the wrong ditch, my friend, and you had better climb out.
Paddock? That's me home. I'll be heading out for dinner.
Hey, can I speak to you? May I come in for a minute? Say, sir, I've been watching you, and I reckon you're a cool customer. I reckon, too, you're an honest man and not afraid of playing a bold hand. I'm gonna confide in you. I need help worse than any man ever needed it. I want to know if I can count you in. On the 15th day of June, Constantine Karolides is coming to this city. The British Foreign Office has taken to having international tea parties, and the biggest of them is due on that date. Now, Karolides is reckoned the principal guest, and if my friends have their way, he will never return to his admiring countrymen.
Well, that's simple enough anyhow. You can warn him and keep him at home.
And play their game. If he does not come, they win, for he's the only man that can straighten out the tangle. And if his government are warned, he won't come, for he does not know how big the stakes will be on June the 15th.
What about the British government? They're not going to let their guests be murdered. Tip them the wink, and they'll take extra precautions.
No good. They might stuff your city with plainclothes detectives and double the police, and Constantine would still be a doomed man. He'll be murdered by an Austrian, and there'll be plenty of evidence to show the connivance of the big folk in Vienna and Berlin. It will all be an infernal lie, of course, but the case will look black enough to the world. But it's not going to come off if there's a certain man alive right here in London on the 15th day of June. And that man is going to be your servant, Franklin P. Scudder.
Where did you find out this story?
I completed my evidence 10 days ago in Paris. I can't tell you the details now, for it's something of a history. But when I was quite sure in my own mind, I judged it my business to disappear. And I reached this city by a mighty queer circuit. Till yesterday I thought I had muddied my trail some, and was feeling pretty happy. Then I saw a man standing in the street outside this block. I used to stay close in my room all day, and only slip out after dark for an hour or two. I watched him for a bit from my window, and I thought I recognized him. He came in and spoke to the porter. When I came back from my walk last night, I found a card in my letterbox. It bore the name of the man I want least to meet on God's earth.
What did you do next?
I realized I was bottled as sure as a pickled herring, and that there was only one way out. I had to die. If my pursuers knew I was dead, they would go to sleep again.
How did you manage it? I'll trust you for the night. I'll lock you into this room and keep the key. Just one word, Mr. Scudder. I believe you're straight, but if so be you are not, I should warn you that I'm a handy man with a gun.
I haven't the privilege of your name, sir, but let me tell you that you're a true gentleman. Now, I'll thank you to lend me a razor.
My hat. Mr. Scudder.
Not Mr. Scudder. Captain Theophilus Digby of the 40th Gurkhas. Presently home on leave. I'll thank you to remember that, sir.
Stop that row, Paddock. There's a friend of mine, Captain... he's dossing down in there. Get breakfast for 2, and then come and speak to me.
Nasty business here this morning, sir. Gent in number 15 been and shot himself. They've just took him to the mortuary. The police are up there now.
Say, Hanny.
What is it?
Judge, I should let you a bit deeper into this business. I should hate to go out without leaving somebody else to put up a fight.
chap. I'm going to do my best for you. Wish me well, wherever you are.
God, blimey!
Come in here a moment. I want a word with you.
Yes, sir?
Lend me your cap and overall for 10 minutes, and here's a sovereign for you.
What's the game?
A bet. I haven't time to explain, but to win it, I've got to be a milkman for the next 10 minutes, and all you've got to do is to stay here till I come back.
He's jumped. He's jumped to his death.
That blasted dog just bit me!
Good evening to you. It's a fine night for the road.
Is that place an inn?
At your service. I'm the landlord, sir. And I hope you will stay the night, for, to tell you the truth, I've had no company for a week.
You're young to be an innkeeper?
My father died a year ago and left me the business. I live there with my grandmother. It's a slow job for a young man, and it wasn't my choice, the profession.
Which was?
I want to write books. I want to see life, to travel the world and write things like Kipling and Conrad. But the most I've done yet is to get some verses printed in Chambers' Journal.
Here's a true tale for you then, and a month from now you can make a novel out of it. Devils are after me and the police are after them. It's a race that I mean to win. I think they're off my track for the moment, but I must lie close for a couple of days. Can you take me in?
chaps below looking for you. They're in the dining room having whiskies and sodas. They asked about you and said they'd hoped to meet you here. Oh, and they described you jolly well, down to your boots and shirt. I told them you'd been here last night and gone off on a motorbicycle this morning. And one of the chaps swore like a navvy.
Take this down and say it was found in my bedroom and ask them to return it to me if they overtake me.
Okay. Your paper woke them up. The dark fellow went as white as death and cursed like blazes. And a fat one whistled and looked ugly. They paid for their drinks with half a sovereign and wouldn't wait for change.
Now, I'll tell you what I want you to do. Get on your bicycle and go off to Newton Stewart to the chief constable. Describe the two men and say you suspect them of having had something to do with the London murder. You can invent reasons. The two will come back, never fear. Not tonight, for they'll follow me 40 miles along the road, but first thing tomorrow morning. Tell the police to be here bright and early.
Ha!
I was thinking desperately of what I had found in Scudder's pocketbook. The whole story was in the notes, with gaps, you understand, which he would have filled up from his memory. He stuck down his authorities too, and had an odd trick of giving them all a numerical value and then striking a balance, which stood for the reliability of each stage in the yarn. The bare bones of the tale were all that was in the book. These, and one queer phrase which occurred half a dozen times inside brackets. 39 steps. I counted them. High tide, 10:17 p.m. I could make nothing of that. It was no question of preventing a war. That was coming, as sure as Christmas. Had been arranged, said Scudder, ever since February 1912. In spite of all the nonsense talked in Parliament, there was a real working alliance between France and Britain, and made plans for joint action in case of war. Well, in June a very great swell was coming over from Paris, and he was going to get nothing less than a statement of the disposition of the British Home Fleet on mobilization. The 15th day of June was going to be a day of destiny. It was so big that I didn't blame Scudder for keeping me out of the game and wanting to play a lone hand. This war was going to come as a mighty surprise to Britain. Carolides' death would set the Balkans by the ears, and then Vienna would chip in with an ultimatum. Russia wouldn't like that, and there would be high words, but Berlin would play the peacemaker and pour oil on the waters, till suddenly she would find a good cause for a quarrel, pick it up, and in 5 hours let fly at us.
I can spare a quarter of an hour, and my house is 2 minutes off. I'll see you clothed and fed and snug in bed. Where's your kit, by the way? Is it in the burn along with the car?
It's in my pocket.
A toothbrush?
I'm a colonial and travel light.
A colonial? By gad, you're the very man I've been praying for. Are you by any blessed chance a free trader?
A free trader? I am.
Oh, good show.
Thank you.
You find me in a deuce of a mess, Mr... Oh, by the by, you haven't told me your name.
Twiston.
Well, you see, I'm the Liberal candidate for this part of the world, and I had a meeting on tonight at Brattleburn, and that's my chief town, in an infernal Tory stronghold. I'd got the colonial ex-premier fellow, Crumpleton, coming to speak for me tonight, and had the thing tremendously billed, and the whole place ground-baited. This afternoon, I had a wire from the ruffian saying he'd got influenza at Blackpool. And here I am, left to do the whole thing myself. I had meant to speak for 10 minutes, and now must go on for 40. And though I've been racking my brains for 3 hours to think of something, I simply cannot last the course. Now, you've got to be a good chap and help me.
All right. I'm not much good as a speaker, but I'll tell them a bit about Australia.
Oh.
I'd like to propose a vote of thanks to Sir Harry for his statesman-like speech, and to Mr. Twisden, whose words had the eloquence of an emigration agent.
A ripping speech, Twisden. Now, you're coming home with me. What was your job in Rhodesia, Mr. Hannay?
Mining engineer.
Not a profession that weakens the nerves, is it?
As to that, my nerves are good enough.
I don't want proof. I may be an ass on the platform, but I can size up a man. You're no murderer, and you're no fool. I believe you're speaking the truth. I'm going to back you up. I'll write to the Permanent Secretary at the Foreign Office. He's my godfather and one of the best going. Now, what do you want? Oh, by the way, you'll find my godfather, his name's Sir Walter Bullivant, down at his country cottage for Whitsuntide. It's close to Artonswell on the Kennet.
Then, show me a map of the neighborhood and explain to me the lie of the land. Lastly, if the police come seeking me, just show them the car in the glen. If the other lot turn up, tell them I caught the South Express after your meeting.
First, turn to the right, up by the long fir wood. By daybreak, you'll be well into the hills. Then, I should pitch the machine into a bog and take to the moors on foot.
You can put in a week among the shepherds and be as safe as if you were in New Guinea.
Thank you. What is your trouble, may I ask?
The trouble is that I'm no sober. Last night my daughter Maren was wadded, and the dance still fower on the byre. Me and some other chiels sat down to the drinking, and here I am. Pity that I ever looked on the wine when it was red.
Sleep sounds like your best bet.
It's easy speaking. But I got a postcard yestreen saying that the new road surveyor would be round the day. He'll come and he'll no find me, or else he'll find me foo, and either way I'm a done man.
Well, back to your bed and sleep in peace. I'll take on your job for a bit and see the surveyor.
Aye, you're the Billy. It'll be easy enough managed. I've finished that bing o' stains, so you needn't chop any more for noon. Just take the barry and wheel enough metal for yon quarry down the road to make another bing the morn. My name's Alexander Turnbull, and I've been 7 year at the trade, and 20 afore that herding in Leith and Water. My friends call me Eki, and Wales Specky, for I wear glasses in wake of the sight. Just you speak the surveyor fair and calm, sir, and he'll be well pleased. I'll be back, midday.
Are you Alexander Turnbull? I am the new County Road Surveyor. You live at Black Hopefoot and have charge of the section from Laidlaw Byres to the Rigs. Good. A fair bit of road, Turnbull, and not badly engineered. A little soft about a mile off and the edges want cleaning. See you look after that. Good morning. You'll know me the next time you see me.
Did you see anyone pass early this morning? He might be on a bicycle or he might be on foot.
I opened the house door about 7, and there was nobody on the road then. Since I come up here, there has just been the baker and the Rachill herd, besides you gentlemen.
Excuse me, may I trouble you for a light?
Hello, Jopley. Well met, my lad.
Who the devil are you?
My name's Hanny, from Rhodesia, you remember?
Good God, the murderer!
Borrowing your car for an hour or two. But if you play me any tricks, and above all, if you open your mouth, as sure as there's a God above me, I'll wring your neck. Savvy?
Just don't hurt me.
A thousand thanks. There's more use in you than I thought. Now be off and find the police.
I'll get you!
I see. A fugitive from justice, eh? Well, we'll go into the matter at our leisure. Meantime, I object to my privacy being broken in upon by the clumsy rural policeman. Go into my study and you will see 2 doors facing you. Take the one on the left and close it behind you. You will be perfectly safe. This is a lucky morning for you, Mr. Richard Hannay.
My name's Ainsley.
So, but of course you have others. We won't quarrel about a name. Do you know a little too much, Mr. Hannay? You're a clever actor, but not quite clever enough.
For God's sake, stop jawing. Everything is against me. I haven't had a bit of luck since I came on shore at Leith. What's the harm in a poor devil with an empty stomach picking up some money he finds in a bust-up motor car? That's all I've done, and for that I've been chivied for 2 days by those blasted bobbies over those blasted hills. I tell you, I'm fair sick of it. You know what you like, old boy? Ned Ainsley's got no fight left in him.
Will you oblige me with the story of your recent doings?
I can't, Governor. I've not had a bite to eat for 2 days. Give me a mouthful of food, and then you'll hear God's truth.
You're a good liar, Hannay.
Stop fooling, damn you.
I do not propose to let you go. If you are what you say you are, you will soon have a chance of clearing yourself. If you are what I believe you are, I do not think you will see the light much longer.
You'll know me next time, Governor.
Karl, stecke diesen in den Lagerraum. Und bis ich zurückkomme, bist du mir vor ihm verantwortlich.
What in the name of... What's happened to you?
Forgive me. I've taken a pretty bad fall.
Come in. Come in. Back my plaid and... Ugh, this old hat that belonged to my man.
Ah. Hi, have you got my specs? You'll have come for your jacket and waistcoat. Come on, boy.
Look at that big fellow. £4 if it's an ounce.
I've got him now. You might swear he was a black stone.
So, Twisden's the name, isn't it?
No? I mean to say, yes.
I've obeyed Harry's instructions, and the bribe he offered me was that you would tell me something to wake me up. I'm ready, Mr. Hannay. You may dismiss the police from your mind. You're in no danger from the law of this land.
Great Scott. Have they got the murderer?
No. But for the last fortnight, they've dropped you from the list of possibles.
Why?
Principally because I received a letter from Scudder. I knew something of the man, and he did several jobs for me. He was half crank, half genius, but he was wholly honest. Trouble about him was his partiality for playing a lone hand. I had a letter from him on the 31st of May.
But he had been dead a week by then.
The letter was written and posted on the 23rd. His communications usually took a week to reach me, for they were sent undercover to Spain and then to Newcastle. He had a mania, you know, for concealing his tracks. When I got it, I went to Scotland Yard, went over the details of the inquest, and concluded that you were the friend. Now, let us have the little notebook. But all this about war and the Black Stone, it reads like some wild melodrama. If only I had more confidence in Scudder's judgment. Trouble about him was that he was too romantic. He had a lot of odd biases, too. Jews, for example, made him see red. Jews and the high finance. And all this stuff about Karolides. There's no state in Europe that wants him gone. Besides, he's just been playing up to Berlin and Vienna and giving my chief some uneasy moments. They want our naval dispositions for their collection at the Marienamt. But they'll be pigeonholed. Nothing more.
There's a trunk call from London, Sir Walter. It's Mr. Heath, and he wants to speak to you personally.
I apologize to the shade of Scudder. Karolides was shot dead this evening at a few minutes after 7. I had a busy hour on the telephone after you went to bed. I got my chief to speak to the First Lord and the Secretary for War, and they're bringing Roy over a day sooner. Now, this wire clinches it. He'll be in London at 5. Not that I think it'll do much good. If your friends were clever enough to find out the first arrangement, they're clever enough to discover the change. I would give my head to know where the leak is. Hannah, can you drive a car?
Why, yes.
Well, you'll be my chauffeur today and wear Hudson's rig. McGillivray, I've brought you the Portland Place murderer. I want you to assure Mr. Hannay that he will suffer no further inconvenience.
You can take up your life where you left off. Your flat, which probably you no longer wish to occupy, is waiting for you, and your man is still there.
McGillivray, we may want your assistance later on. Come and see me tomorrow, Hannay.
By God, the murderer! Here, you fellows hold him! That's Hannay, the man who did the Portland Place murder!
You got to come along with me, young man. I saw you strike that gentleman cruel hard. You began it too, for he wasn't doing nothing. I seen ya. You best go quietly or I'll have to fix you up. Watch him! Watch him! Come back here!
I must see Sir Walter. My business is desperately important.
Sir Walter is engaged, sir, and I have orders to admit no one. Perhaps you will wait.
Scudder's residence. How may I help you?
Is his lordship at home?
His lordship returned half an hour ago and has gone to bed. He's not very well tonight.
I knew it.
And I feel reassured.
Sir Walter!
Gentlemen!
For God's sake, gentlemen, tell me who went out a minute ago.
Lord Alloa.
It was not. It was his living image, but it was not Lord Alloa. It was someone who recognized me, someone I have seen in the last month. He had scarcely left the doorstep when I rang up Lord Alloa's house and was told he had come in half an hour before and had gone to bed.
Who?
The Black Stone.
Nonsense.
But it's madness. Do you mean to tell me that that man came here and sat beside me for the best part of half an hour and that I didn't detect the imposture?
Our enemies have not been foolish. I will tell you a tale. It happened many years ago in Senegal. I stuffed my fishing rod into his jaws, and I had a pistol. Also, my servants came presently with rifles. But he left his mark on me. The mare had been dead more than an hour, and the brute had been patiently watching me ever since. I never saw the kill, for I was accustomed to the mare's fretting, and I never marked her absence, for my consciousness of her was only of something tawny, and the lion filled that part. If I could blunder thus, gentlemen, in a land where men's senses are keen, why should we busy, preoccupied urban folk not err also?
Well, I suppose there is nothing for it but to change the plans.
Well, I can't speak with absolute assurance, but I'm nearly certain we can't make any serious change, unless we alter the geography of England.
Besides, there is the post. By this time the news will be on its way.
No. You do not understand the habits of the spy. He receives personally his reward, and he delivers personally his intelligence. There is still a chance, mes amis. These men must cross the sea, and there are ships to be searched and ports to be watched.
Where is Scudder's book? Quick, man! I remember something in it. 39 steps. 39 steps. I counted them. High tide, 10:17 p.m. What relevance is all... Don't you see? It's a clue. Scudder knew where these fellows laired. He knew where they were going to leave the country, though he kept the name to himself. Tomorrow was the day, and it was some place where high tide was at 10:17.
But they may have gone tonight.
Not they. I know Germans, and they are mad about working to a plan. Where the devil can I get a book of tide tables?
Let's go over to the Admiralty.
could be...
Is there no inspector of Coast Guards or some fellow like that knows the East Coast?
Why, yes, there is. He lives in Clapham. Let me get him now.
Well, gentlemen, I can't think of anywhere else. Of course, there's the Rough.
What's that?
The big chalk headland in Kent, close to Bradgate. It's got a lot of villas on the top, and some of the houses have staircases down to a private beach. It's a very high-toned sort of place, and the residents there like to keep by themselves.
Ha!
The tide's 10 minutes before Bradgate.
If one of those staircases has 39 steps, we have solved the mystery, gentlemen. I want the loan of your car, Sir Walter, and a map of the roads.
Of course.
If Mr. McGillivray will spare me 10 minutes, yes, I think we can prepare something for tomorrow.
Good. I, for one, am content to leave the matter in Mr. René's hands.
$34, $35, $42, $47, and $21, where the cliffs get lower. Oh, and $39.
Scaife, we have them.
You all right there, Percy?
Yes, you're looking a little hot under the collar.
I've got into a proper lather. This'll bring down my weight and my handicap, Bob. I'll take you on tomorrow and give you a stroke a hole.
Is, Mr. Appleton at home?
Yes, sir. Please, come in. Who may I say is calling?
Richard Hannay.
If you could wait in the smoking room, I'll let Mr. Appleton know you're here.
Mr. Hannay? Did you wish to see me?
I have come to tell you that the game's up. I have a warrant for the arrest of you three gentlemen.
Arrest? Arrest? Good God, what for?
For the murder of Franklin Scudder in London on the 23rd day of last month.
I never heard the name before.
That was the Portland Place murder. I read about it. Good heavens. You must be mad, sir. Where do you come from?
Scotland Yard.
Don't get flustered, Uncle. It's all a ridiculous mistake. But these things happen sometimes, and we can easily set it right. It won't be hard to prove our innocence. I can show you that I was out the country on the 23rd of May, and Bob was in a nursing home. You were in London, but you can explain what you were doing.
That was the day after Agatha's wedding. Let me see, what was I doing? Came up in the morning from Woking and lunched at the club with Charlie Simons. Then, oh yes, I dined with the fishmongers. Hang it all, there's the cigar box I brought back from the dinner.
I think, sir, you will see you are mistaken. We want to assist the law like all Englishmen, and we don't want Scotland Yard to be making fools of themselves.
Meantime, I vote we have a game of bridge. It'll give Mr. Hannay time to think over things. And you know we've been wanting a fourth player.
Bob, look at the time. You better think about catching your train.
No, you must stay.
I'll go bail for my nephew. That ought to content you, Mr. Hannay.
Get your hands off me! Schnell, Franz! Das Boot! Das Boot!
He is safe. You cannot follow in time. He's gone. He has triumphed. Der schwarze Stein ist in der Siegeskrone.
I hope Franz will bear his triumph well. I ought to tell you that the Ariadne for the last hour has been in our hands.
29 steps. Three weeks later, as all the world knows, we went to war. I joined the new army the first week and, owing to my Matabele experience, got a captain's commission straight off. But I had done my best service, I think, before I put on khaki.